This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
The Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa CAPPA has asked the federal government to ensure that the mining of lithium in Nasarawa state is carried out responsibly and with care for the host communities. This call comes in the wake of an inauguration of a 4,000 metric ton plant in the state. Joining us this morning is CAPPA Climate Change Program Manager Olamide Ogunlade. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Ogunlade.
Good morning, and nice to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to have you on. This call to the federal government that you put out, it's a bit of a lengthy one. Can you give us an added information, a bit of a summary of why you decided to put out the call and what exactly you are asking?
Thank you very much again for having me. I think the summary of, the caution we made to the federal government is that the federal government would, remember the happenings in the Niger Delta, how it has failed to be responsible for the people of the Niger Delta, and also for the federal government to know that there is need for robust policy when it comes to mineral exploitation in Nigeria. We are dealing with a regime that has, absolute disregard for the plight and concerns of people, in the frontline community. So in a nutshell, we are saying why we believe that lithium, mining might be a way to go. We are also asking the federal government to also be responsible socially and environmentally, and also to have, corporations that are trooping into, local environment to also have some level of responsibility. Otherwise, it's going to be a repeat of, what we are trying to forget in the Niger Delta.
So let's speak about those environmental dangers. Share with us what exactly is tied to lithium mining and what we've seen in other countries where the mineral is mined.
So of a truth, we know that lithium is a very, very important mineral to be mined. Some have argued that it's like a loose gold, and it's very useful when it comes to just energy transitioning. But then in countries like Zambia, in Zimbabwe, even in DRC, we have seen the risky dominance of Chinese, perpetuated or allowed by loose government framework or policy. We have seen government failing in its oversight responsibility towards ensuring that corporations are socially and environmentally responsible. So why we say that it might be a way to go, because we hope to transit from the dirty crude, to a more renewable and sustainable energy. We are just saying that government should accommodate the concerns of the people. We are looking at the governance structure at the moment. We know for a fact that the Nigerian Mining has given so much power to the federal government. And there's contention between who owns what and why. This government are saying they own the land. The other government are saying, come on, we own the minerals. So there's need for a policy adjustment to be able to detail obligations and oversight responsibility of government. And more importantly, we have said that there is need for us to accommodate the voices of the frontline community. These are the people who bear the brunt. These are the people who provide the cheap labor. These are the people who bear the environmental consequences of mining. Why corporations owned by China mismatch to the bank? The people have their identity, utterly battered, and they are struggling for survival. So it's not a way to go if these policies are not put in place.
So one of the arguments that's typically made in a situation like this is the host community, or rather the companies would typically say that they provide employment opportunities, they carry out certain infrastructural developments. This is part of what they say they've done in favor of these communities. You've just spoken on policies, reforms, and certain regulations. What other regulations could be put in place to ensure that the people get the fullest benefits?
Okay, before I answer that question, it's good to also do the simple mathematics. You don't want to compare the number of people that are struggling with cardiovascular issues that are related to mining, illicit mining of mineral resources. You don't want to talk about the pressure that we now have on our already fragile healthcare sector. So these are layman excuses. These are not, founded on the basis of simple economics. So what we are saying is that there should be clarity as to who does what and why. Government seems to only be responsible or be interested in royalties that are being paid by these companies. Nobody is talking about remediation. Nobody is talking about restoration. I just mentioned the example of Niger Delta in Nigeria. Up till today, Ogoni land is yet to be cleaned. People are struggling for water in their homeland. People are being displaced, their cultural identity, their language is gone, their culture totally altered. So these are the examples that we are trying to avoid. So when we say government should be responsible, we are saying that the oversight function of government, the voice of the people that are bearing this brunt, should be accommodated. There's what we call community ownership of infrastructure. You can come from anywhere from China to build facility. If you don't hear me out, if you don't have that dialogue with me, I can state for a fact that those facilities will only last for a moment. So we are talking about life, in between mining and life after mining. We have cases of open pits here and there, scattered across the country, that are leading to flood and exacerbating climate issues. So we are saying that government, interestingly also, we are aware that the Nigerian Mining Act is under review. So we are saying more power should be allocated to state government, whose lands are housing these deposits owned by the federal government, so they say. And then we also say that communities that are bearing this bond should also be given some level of oversight, function, and responsibility. Otherwise, my sister, it's going to be like a repeat of, the whole regime that we don't want to talk about anymore.
Well, Mr. Ogunlade, we certainly hope to see proper people-centered reforms within the sector. Appreciate your time and your thoughts on the conversation this morning. My guest, Mr. Olamide Ogunlade, is the Climate Change Program Manager at Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa. The group has asked the federal government to ensure that the mining of lithium in Nasarawa state is carried out responsibly and with care for host communities. And as we wrap up this conversation, it's worth putting out that experts have raised concerns, environmental concerns around the mining of lithium. They say that though the extraction methods are much less intensive and much less adversely impactful on the environment when compared to fossil fuel mining, it's important to stress that it can lead to air and water pollution as well as land degradation and has a potential to contaminate groundwater. These are some of the things to watch out for as Nigeria continues to explore opportunities within the mining sector.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.